Have you ever stumbled across an old photograph and noticed that one person just doesn't seem to belong? It's as if they've been plucked from another time and dropped right into the past, standing out in a sea of faces frozen in history. Today, we're diving into one of the internet's most captivating real-life mysteries, the story of the so-called time-traveling hipster. This isn't just a quirky internet rumor, it's a genuine puzzle that's fascinated people for years. The photo in question was snapped in 1941 at the reopening of the South Fork Bridge in British Columbia. At first glance, it looks like any other black and white crowd shot from the era, until you notice something, or rather someone, that just doesn't fit. Amidst a crowd dressed in classic 1940s suits, ties, and hats, there's a man who looks like he's just stepped out of a modern-day coffee shop. He's got a casual sweater, a printed t-shirt, and sunglasses that seem decades ahead of their time. His clothes, his shades, even his laid-back attitude, none of it matches the era. He stands out so much that it almost feels like he's been photoshopped in, but this was long before digital editing existed. The authenticity of the photo has been confirmed by the Braylorn Pioneer Museum, which holds the original negative. There's no evidence of tampering or digital trickery. What you see is what was captured in 1941. So how did this mysterious, out-of-place man end up in a crowd from over 80 years ago? Was it a coincidence, or is there something more to the story? Was he a genuine time traveler, accidentally caught on camera? Or was he simply a fashion rebel, ahead of his time and breaking all the style rules of the 1940s? This single image has sparked endless theories, heated debates, and wild speculation online. People from all over the world have weighed in, trying to solve the mystery. Let's take a closer look at the man who's kept the internet guessing for years, and see if we can uncover any clues that might finally solve the riddle of the time-traveling hipster. Let's zero in on our mystery man, a figure who has sparked endless debates and curiosity. He stands out in the crowd, tall, young, and dressed nothing like those around him. His appearance is strikingly different, almost as if he's been plucked from a different era. While others wear suits and hats, he sports a screen-printed t-shirt, an unzipped cardigan, and dark wraparound sunglasses. These items are not just unusual, they are anachronistic, seemingly out of place in the 1940s. He looks relaxed, almost modern, as if he's just people-watching at a street fair. His demeanor is casual, almost too casual for the time period. His accessories add to the puzzle. Those sunglasses look decades ahead of their time, and he's holding what appears to be a compact camera. These items were not common in 1941, making his presence even more perplexing. Everything about him, his clothes, his gear, his attitude, feels out of sync with 1941. It's as if he's a visitor from the future, dropped into a past era. He's not posing, just blending in, yet he's impossible to ignore. His presence is both subtle and striking, making him a focal point in the photograph. Was he a time traveler or simply a man ahead of his time? This question has fueled countless theories and speculations. The internet dubbed him the time-traveling hipster, and the legend was born. This nickname has only added to the intrigue and mystery surrounding him. His presence in that photo is a riddle that refuses to fade. Let's explore the theories and delve deeper into this enigma. The wildest theory out there? It's one that's captured imaginations for decades and sparked countless debates among believers and skeptics alike. Some say he's a real time traveler, someone who slipped into 1941 by accident or maybe on purpose, and ended up immortalized in a single mysterious photograph. Imagine for a moment that he was a tourist from the future, casually exploring the past, blending in just enough to avoid suspicion, until that camera shutter clicked. Or maybe he was a daring historian, someone who broke every rule of time travel just to leave a subtle clue for us to discover decades later. His look is so strikingly modern, dark sunglasses, a graphic sweater, and a style that seems to leap out of the black and white crowd. It's easy to believe he doesn't belong in that era at all. But there's a more grounded and perhaps more likely theory. He was simply a trendsetter, someone ahead of his time in both attitude and fashion sense. Every item he's wearing, no matter how unusual, could have existed in the 1940s, even if it wasn't what most people wore. Sometimes rare pieces or imported styles made their way into the hands of bold individuals. Maybe he was a rebel, a sports fan showing off his team's colors, or just someone who loved to experiment with new looks and stand out from the crowd. Or perhaps he was simply an eccentric, the kind of person who always drew glances and whispers wherever he went. His style might have been rare, even shocking for the time, but it wasn't impossible. Fashion has always had its outliers and pioneers. So, was he a time traveler lost in the past, or just a man with unique taste and a flair for the unconventional? The answer really depends on how much you want to believe in the extraordinary, and how far your imagination is willing to go. Let's take a closer look and break down the clues that keep this mystery alive. Time to play detective. First, the sunglasses. They look modern, but similar styles existed for mountaineers in the 1940s. Rare, but real. The t-shirt? It might be a Montreal Maroons hockey jersey, a team from the era. Wearing it as outerwear was unusual, but not impossible for a young sports fan. The cardigan? Zipped sweaters were around, especially for athletes. The camera? Compact folding cameras were available and popular with amateurs. Piece by piece, his outfit fits the time, just not the norm. Each detail has a plausible 1940s explanation. The mystery man's look is less about time travel, more about individuality. He was different, but not impossible. The clues point to a real person, not a visitor from the future, but the intrigue remains. So what do the experts think? Historians and the Braylorn Pioneer Museum agree. The photo is authentic, and nothing about the man's outfit is truly anachronistic. Fashion historians confirm that while his style was rare, every item could be found in the 1940s. Photography experts say the image is genuine, no manipulation. The consensus? He was just an unusually dressed man, not a time traveler. But even with logical explanations, the photo's mystery endures. The man's identity is still unknown, and his story remains untold. That's why the debate continues. Why does this story captivate us, even with rational answers? We love mysteries. They spark our imagination and invite us to question what we know. The time-traveling hipster makes history feel alive, personal, and a little bit magical. He reminds us that the past wasn't as uniform as we think. There were always rebels and originals. The idea of time travel taps into our deepest fantasies. Maybe it's more fun to believe in the impossible, to keep the magic alive. In the end, the real appeal is the questions he leaves us with. Was he a visitor from another era, or just a cool guy ahead of his time? The mystery is yours to solve. What do you believe?